Hello and welcome to this session in which we will work a bank reconciliation. This bank reconciliation is considered a special one or a unique or a challenging one, and the reason is simple because I am going to be giving you the prior month bank reconciliation. So I will be giving you June 30th bank reconciliation, and I will ask you to prepare the July bank reconciliation. Why is this challenging? Why is this unique? Usually when you are preparing a bank reconciliation, they don't show you the prior month. In the real world, you always have a prior month that you have to take into account. And it took me a month when I started to work with bank reconciliation to get that idea under control, that I have to take into account the prior month. And sometimes, even in this example, it's going to be simpler than the real world, because even in the real world, from the prior month, you might have still certain things that are outstanding, like outstanding checks or deposit. They haven't cleared the bank yet, but that's a different story. So this is, I would believe, for a CPA exam candidate, this is a challenging example. So we'll go over this example step by step. But before we do so, I just want to go real quick over the bank reconciliation. This is an exercise. Nevertheless, I always like to go over the rules before we dive into the example. But if you don't understand what a bank reconciliation is in depth, go to the lecture. A bank reconciliation is looking at your general ledger for cash and comparing it for a particular period, for example, at the end of the month, at your bank balance. So this is the bank balance, cash per bank, and cash per GL. Now, cash per bank and cash per GL should be the same. However, because of timing differences, they are not the same. So what we need to do, we need to go over those timing differences to make sure the bank equal to your cash general ledger. Adjust for those. Now, what are those adjustments? On the bank side, we add any deposit in transit. We deduct any outstanding checks. And if we made an error, the error could be a plus or it could be a minus. Those are usually the three common things that you would have to adjust for on the bank side. On the book side, well, if the bank collected any money on your behalf or granted you any interest, now what you do, you add this information to your general ledger because you were not aware of it. If the bank took any fees out, now you deduct the fees from your general ledger, assuming you were not aware of it until you receive your bank statement. And if there's any non-sufficient checks that you deposited from customers, you assumed it's good, but you find out it's not good, then you have to back it out. And you could have made an error on your cash general ledger, and now it's time to fix it. And once you do all of those, your adjusted cash bank and your adjusted GL bank should equal to each other. That's the key. Now we're going to go ahead and work this example. As I mentioned, what's challenging about this example? It's the prior month bank reconciliation. So you may not see this in your course, but I wanted to show it to you because if you can complete this bank reconciliation, then you can ace any bank reconciliation as far as your accounting class, CPA, or CMA exam. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com.
Farhat Accounting Lectures is a supplemental educational tool that's going to help you with your CPA exam preparation as well as your accounting courses. My CPA material is aligned with your CPA review course such as Becker, Roger, Wiley, Gleam, Miles. My accounting courses are aligned with your accounting courses broken down by chapter and topics. My resources consist of lectures, multiple choice questions, true-false questions, as well as exercises. Go ahead, start your free trial today.
Let's start by looking at the bank side. On the bank side for July, the bank side balance starting with per bank $8,350. Now we need to make certain adjustments to determine how much should the balance be. How do we do so? We look at the July deposits. It looks like the bank shows we deposited $5,000. Per our books, it looks like we deposited in July $5,810. So what does that mean? At face value, At face value, it looks like there are $810 of deposit in transit because our book's showing $5,810. Their bank is showing what, $5,000. At face value, that's the case. But is this really true? And the answer is not. Why? Because now we have to take into account the prior month bank reconciliation. On the prior month bank reconciliation, we show that we have a deposit in transit of $1,040. This deposit in transit, this $1,040, is part of the $5,000. It was deposit in transit because this $1,040 belonged to June, but it did not show in June. It showed in July. Therefore, the July true deposit is $5,000 minus $1,040. Why minus $1,040? Because that $1,040 that I deposited in June, it did not make it to June. As far as the bank concerned, it's in July. As far as I am concerned, that belongs to, you guessed it, June. Therefore, I have to back it out. Therefore, what's the true deposit? $3,960. Now, I can compare the deposit per bank for July. This is the true deposit per bank for July, and compare it to the $5,810. And I see that I have a deposit in transit, and I add deposit in transit. Now, don't worry about the format. I'm going to show you the proper format on the next slide. The proper. What should you do? Go to Farhat Lectures, whether you are a CPA candidate, accounting student, CMA candidate, studying for your professional certification. Invest in yourself. The best investment you can make is yourself. Good luck, study hard, and of course, stay safe.